Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So on today's video I'll be talking about how I got first class, how I got A's in my essays at uni. If you're just seeing me for the first time, hi, I'm Chidera and I recently completed my master's degree here in the UK, and I share on my journey as an international student. But before we go on, I have a community of international students known as the CP community. So if you click the link in the description box below, you can join the community. And once you join, you will get access to a frequently asked questions document. You get access to a packing checklist, which has been updated so that when you're coming to the UK, you know what to pack and what not to pack. You will get access to resources like tips on how to write a CV for the UK job market. And most importantly, you get access to a Telegram channel where you can meet other international students and hopefully collaborate with someone or make friends and just know that you're not alone on this journey. So once again, click the link in the description box and join the community today. Alternatively, you can follow us on Instagram at the CP community or Twitter CP community _. Previously, I showed you guys my results and then I showed you guys how I was able to achieve that result. If you've not seen the video, make sure you check the link above and watch the video. This video is part 1 of 2. There will be a part 2 to this video, which is going to be best practices for getting a first class in every essay in uni. So make sure you hit the subscribe button now and turn on post notifications so you don't miss that video when it comes out. Enough talking, let's get started. Okay, so first thing I'm going to share, and I'm going to talk about how I get started with my essays. So the very first thing I do before I start writing my essay is to create a reading list. And how do I do this? For every course that I take or that I took, lecturers gave us what they call recommended reading, and the same thing will apply to you if you're students in the UK. I go through the recommended reading material and pick the ones I feel are very relevant to the assignment, and then I read on it. I said some because sometimes the recommended reading materials are like 40 articles, and I know I don't have that luxury of time to read every single one of them, so I pick the ones that are relevant and then I read them. Then also from this recommended reading, the ones I have selected, next thing I do is as I'm reading these articles or these papers or these review papers, any other article I noticed that was referenced a lot in that reading material, I access it like through the references. I copy the reference out and then I find the document on the internet and then I download it. The reason I do this is because the recommended reading material that your lecturer would give you would not be enough for you to write a rich essay. You always have to go beyond the recommended reading material. So that's how I get more sources. And also I just do a random search on Google to find more documents. So for example, one resource I use a lot is known as Google Scholar. I'm sure you must have heard of it. So I just put Google Scholar and then I open it. So it's like an open access resource that you can use to find different scholarly articles on the internet. So this assignment I'm writing is on volcanic hazards and risk perception. So I just simply put it there, volcanic hazards and risk perception, and then the results come out. I can see different articles. What I do is I click on the ones I feel are interesting. So I click on this very first one and then it opens up. And you can see that it opens up a website known as Science Direct. Science Direct is also another open access resource that you can use to find academic articles for your assignment. So make sure you check it out. And right here, you can see the download PDF button. So once I hit that, it opens the file for me and then I download it. But when I'm downloading it, I make sure to name it according to a way I can recall it. So now when I download this, I can see the author is Ronald. So I'm going to type in Ronald and then I save it as Ronald. So, and then I keep doing that until I find a lot of articles that I feel like are relevant to the assignment, and I create my reading list. I put that all together in a folder. Sometimes I read like 10, 11, 12 articles for one assignment. So I break it down in 2 days and then I read it. Okay. Another important resource that you can find journals on is known as PubMed. So you can use that also. One other vital thing I must mention is that your university library has a lot of resources for your use. You paid for it, so you might as well use it. Even if you're studying online and you can't go to your university library physically, you can get a VPN. Most universities, university libraries will have a VPN that you can use, so you can access all these international journals that you would have to pay for ordinarily. Do you get? So for me, even though I had to work online for like the last part of my course, I accessed a lot of resources, a lot of journals that I wouldn't have had access to without paying by using my university library VPN. So make sure you do that. If you don't have it, send an email to your uni library and get a VPN. Okay, so once I've done that, I've gathered all my resources. First thing I do is to open up a Google document. Now, the reason why I use Google Docs is because I just want to always have access to my document wherever I am. So even if I leave my laptop at home, I have access to it. I open a new document and then I name it so that I know the document I'm working on. This is DMT assignment, so disaster management techniques assignment. Then I create an outline. So basically the basic outline of an essay: introduction, aims and objectives, literature review, discussion, and conclusion. Then I make all of them section headings. Now, one thing that is important for me to say here is that I structure my essay according to what I feel will best answer the essay well, because there are essays I have written during my time as a student that did not require me to write literature review, and I still had an A in those assignments. I just ensure that whatever outline I use is going to, you know, critically answer the assignment question. So once I do this, I begin to gather my thoughts together. So basically what this Google document is like a notes for my essay process. So I have to gather my notes together. When I see anything under each article that I feel is relevant, so I just highlight it from that document, and then I Ctrl+C, and then I come back to my document and then I paste it. Okay, so that is what I would continuously do on different documents. And the one thing is, as I'm highlighting, if there's a reference that was a citation in the text, I also copy the citation so that when I'm working on my citation later on, so this is literally what I do. I choose different sections to work on per time. So I can decide for the next 3 days, I'm just working on my introduction. So I literally just keep copying text that I feel is relevant, and then from different sources. And then as I copy and I paste, one important thing to mention is that I write the name of the article beside it. So remember the one I downloaded and I wrote Ronald. So beside it, I write Ronald so that later I'll remember that is Ronald I got it from. So this is how I form my essay notes. Then the material I get to form, for example, my introduction, might come from different parts of the article that I'm reading. So sometimes I get material from my introduction from like the discussion of the article I'm reading, or from the conclusion of the article I'm reading, but then that forms, I pick different bits, and then that part forms like my introduction bit. So once I keep copying and pasting and copying and pasting what I feel is relevant for the introduction, so for every article I download, I have a name for it. So for example, the other one I downloaded is Barbara, so I'll just put the names behind it. Then I start writing my notes. So I begin to pick different parts from the different things I have read and different things I've highlighted. So I will just start writing things and then rephrasing the things I have copied and pasted. So I look at different things and then I'm merging them together because I've already read these things before now. So it's not like as I'm sitting down I'm reading. I've read all these articles and I've done my highlighting on them. So what I do now at this point is just to create my essay notes and gather all these points together, and then from the points I have gathered under like the introduction section, I begin to create my own introduction by bouncing off the things that people have already written, but then I try to write it in my own words. So that's what I do. So once I'm able to work on the introduction, it's going to look something like this, where all of the portions highlighted in yellow are the reference materials that I have to cite eventually when I'm done. So I do this for the introduction, give it 3 days, gather my resources together on one document, copy and paste things I feel like relevant, and then bounce off those points to create my own document. Then I go on to the next session for the aims and objectives. From the essay, I can decide to know the aims and objectives. So just knowing what I want to write about is going to give me an aim and an objective. So basically the aim of this essay that I worked on is to compare the volcanic risk perception between two populations. Okay, so that was the aim, to compare and to determine what factors are associated with the risk perceptions between these two areas. So that's that. Then the major place that takes a lot of work is literature review. So what I do, I break it down into sections. So this essay now, I'm comparing two different things. So I know that I have to write about one of them and then write about the other. So the first thing I do, I I talk about, like now I'm comparing between Vesuvius and Campi Flegrei. So I write about Vesuvius, like what is the city, like what's the place, how are they exposed to volcanic hazards, what makes them vulnerable to volcanic hazards. I do that. Then when I do that, I also come down and then talk about Campi Flegrei, which is the other part that I'm comparing with. This is forming my literature review. And then at the end, I do like a comparison of the two. Sometimes I might have to use tables or pictures, but that is how I form my literature review. Because this essay is a comparison. It's a comparison between two places. I had to include a methodology section. So the methodology is talking about how am I going to compare these things. So I decided that, okay, based on the fact that there's a standard way to measure volcanic hazards, I'm going to compare these two places based on these standards for measuring volcanic hazards and risk perceptions. Do you get it? So that's my method of writing this essay. One important thing that is there is in this essay, I included a findings section, which is to showcase the things that I have found. And then towards the bottom, I now did a discussion, which is where I now merge everything I have studied and then everything I have gathered, everything I have read, and start contradicting themselves. So I'll be like, this person said this, but so and so person did not agree with this. So for example, see this part. I said both studies recorded a high knowledge of hazard, with residents mentioning Vesuvius as the active volcano in their regions. However, the residents at Campi Flegrei displayed a better knowledge of Vesuvius volcano, which they regarded as more of a threat. And I said this agrees with Peters in 1988 because perceived risk is likely to be realistic if the volcano is one that has erupted frequently. Do you get it? So basically, I'm now talking about, okay, this study agrees with this study here. However, this person has said this, which kind of agrees with what these two people found. So that's what my discussion part is about. And also, it's very important that I mentioned that plagiarism is a big deal in the UK academic system. So it's really important that you learn to rephrase sentences, you learn to understand what you're reading and make sense of it and write it in your own words, okay? So once I'm done with this, of course, the bulk of the work comes in the referencing. For me, I am very old school. So the way I did my referencing during my studies is what I'm going to show you now, although I don't really advise it because it's one of the slowest method ever. So I come here and I go to references, and then I come to manage sources. So whatever essay I want to search, I click on new, and then so now let me say I want to cite this article of Ronaldo. So literally what I do is I copy the name of the essay, volcanic risk perception and hazard. So I come here, I put the title. You see, it's a very long process, and I go back, then I copy the authors. This is not the best way to reference. This is one of the stressful ways. It's just that this is how I did it. So I'm going to suggest other like referencing methods you can use. And then the year of publication is January 28, 2008. So you can see this is a very hard process. So I go 2008, and then I choose if it's a journal or a book. So journals, you know, then the journal name, I'll go back. You see, it's a lot of back and forth. Is Elsevier, I can't pronounce it. ELSEIVER. So that is the name of the article. Then the pages that I got this from is pages 170 to, you can see the page number at the top, to 173. So I simply put it here, pages 170 to 173. That is it. I've done my references, then I hit OK. I do my referencing in Word. I do my thought gathering process, my notes gathering process in Google Docs, but then it's up to you. You can decide to do your notes gathering process in Word as well. You must not use Google Documents like I did. So for example, once I click this now and I paste, so if I want to put in the referencing that I just did now, which is Ronald, I come back here. So this is home. I come back to references, and then I go to insert citation. Literally, it's the only citation here. So once I click that, all the citations come out. You can see Ronald is here. Then I click Ronald, and it has cited it. And you can see the style of the referencing here is APA. So this is how I reference during my academic but this is one of the most difficult way to do referencing, because I would have to copy each of the details and put into Word document. Usually after I write my essays, I have to give myself like 2 hours to do my referencing, so I won't really advise it. I would advise you look at using Mendeley. The thing is, I did not know how to use this software on time, but then I learned it towards the end of my academic year. So you should consider using Mendeley, RefWorks, or PaperPile. Okay, this would help make your referencing process a whole lot easier. Okay guys, I have come to the end of this video. I hope you found it helpful. I try to make this video as technical as possible, but then at the same time, there's only so much I can say on a video. So once again, don't forget to join the CP community. Click on the link below in the description box, because more helpful resources and tips will be shared there, and it will be more practical, like workshops and stuff. So make sure you join the community now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till next time guys, bye.